So besides staying hydrated, the other thing that we wanted to talk about too was rest.
Yep.
Sleep. Sleep is huge.
Oh my gosh.
How many hours of sleep do you get a night?
Man, not enough. I can tell you that. Seriously. But if I could think of one thing that you could do for your health, despite all the stuff we're talking about, we're focusing on 5 topics here, as you guys kind of know. Exercise, nutrition, proper hydration, rest. The main is getting sleep and proper rest, because that's the one thing you can't really go a long period of time without.
Right.
You know, everything else you can kind of, as you might, kind of know, is that you can kind of live without, but with rest or with sleep, you're going to really quickly, you get a couple days that 8 to 9 hours, or even 6 hours is a target minimum.
Everybody's slightly different.
It's very
too.
different.
The research right now
different.
is looking at more like 7 hours as kind of like that.
Yeah. Nice
that
little
baseline
balance.
recommendation. Yeah.
But if we can set up our hygienic standpoint, from a sleep hygienic standpoint, to get the best bang for our buck in those allotted hours to get that rest, we're going to be really much more better off, right?
Well, and the other thing too is when you don't sleep, your appetite regulation is compromised. Next day, you're hungry as ever, you're craving carbohydrates, you're wanting to eat everything in the kitchen cabinets because you haven't had an opportunity to shut down, to rest, so that your body can then say, oh good, I can use these nutrients that I had. And then, be able to recover from that day and whatever you did, whether it be exercise or the stress that you're dealing with, etc., to then move on to the next day and then just do your normal routine. So the next day you end up feeling more hungry. So again, really getting proper rest.
Spot on. Yep, Ashley's spot on. It's exactly right. And what she's talking about is being more insulin resistant, which if we're not choosing the right nutrients, if we're not exercising, if we're not getting the proper rest, we're becoming more insulin resistant, which is going to efficiency of every single cell in our body. So 30 minutes of exercise, just a little recap, right? Getting 6 to 9 hours of sleep and really high quality sleep. And by making sure that our rooms are as dark as possible, because what is that going to do? Increase the production in the pineal gland.
So, making sure that you've got the right temperature when you're sleeping, you've got the room dark enough, you're putting yourself in the best position to get that restful sleep. 30 minutes before bed, turn off electronic devices. For people, but is so important because you're exposed to that blue light. That blue light is looking right at you and it's affecting your ability to really get into that deep sleep.
Yep. And what Ashley's talking about too, when you get that exposure to that blue light and we're not turning off our, not only being exposed to sort of the media hype and sort of the negative media situation out there that's going to kind of create a stressful situation. The other thing that blue light is doing is decreasing our melatonin production. So it's kind of a punch in the negative direction if we're not being ultra cognizant of taking care of our sleep hygiene. And again, probably my number one recommendation is to be able to take care of those things, right?
And melatonin, like you're saying, is to allow your body to drift into that deep sleep. You can recover and then you can get into your next day feeling like a rock star.
What about caffeine? When do you tell people to decrease
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock, yeah.
Cut it off. 2 o'clock, right? I mean, and that's really hard for a lot of people because a lot of people are drinking coffee all throughout the day. In order for your body to, again, tap into the melatonin that it really needs to produce in order to wind down at night, you have to give yourself several hours for your body to get rid of it and have that turnover of caffeine. So if you can cut that off around 2 o'clock.
Beautiful. Yeah. And another thing, maybe magnesium, another thing that most people are chronically deficient in.
We'll have to do a whole other segment on that.
We will.
We're going to have to talk about magnesium.
You're right. We will.
Another time.
But you guys got the gist. And on just making sure we take care of those fundamentals so that we have the best possible outcome for our number one asset, our health.